Chapter 1. Don't be weird, Metee. Most folks don't know where Larry is. If they've ever heard of it at all, they think it's a truck stop or a typo on a highway sign. Indiana's second smallest municipality, Larry, sits somewhere between forgotten and irrelevant. One of those specks on the map where there's more cows than people and more potholes than pavement. But to its residents, Larry isn't just a town, it's the town. A place where everyone knows everyone. Babies are celebrated with their names on laminated diner walls, and the cows wander free like they're paying taxes. There's a sense of pride here. Today, Larry smelled like wet hay and cheap coffee. So, like most Tuesdays. The cows were out, clomping lazily across the cracked dirt roads, hooves sinking into the soft, rain-kissed earth. Their breath steamed at the early light, and their bodies moved with an entitled swagger of longtime residents. A few paused to nose at the 5-foot cowbell across the street from Rulu's diner. Then they resumed their pilgrimage towards the western fence line. In Larry, cows had more rights than pedestrians, and no one seemed to mind. Metee Long walked the familiar stretch to the diner, headphones nestled in place, antenna snug over her shoulder like a second spine. Her VLF receiver blinking quietly in her bag, picking up signals that no one else seemed to care about. Static mostly, and sometimes stranger things. She was in her usual outfit, an oversized hoodie with cut-off jeans, both a little too worn and a little too seasonally confused. Her wild red hair frizzed around her ears like a halo in the summer humidity. Her sneakers were mismatched, one teal, one white, and the left one had a little smiley face drawn on the toe in fading Sharpie. Metee was cute in an off-kilter kind of way, soft-featured with expressive green eyes, always darting to things that no one else noticed. She chewed the sleeve of her hoodie deep in thought and tended to mutter facts under her breath when she was anxious, which was often. The early August air hummed with cicadas, the buzz, pulse, rhythm, and sound. Off in the distance, a metallic clang echoed. Jabber's gun range, probably warming up for a day of ghost deterrence. It should have felt peaceful, but the cows had turned east again, exactly at 6:35 a.m. She slowed her pace. The bovines stood, silent, statuesque, gazing at that crooked traffic light at the old intersection, like parishioners at a sermon. The light hadn't worked right in years. Just one light stood resolute, a half-hearted infrastructure promise, made and forgotten. It swayed slightly with the breeze, clicking softly like an old metronome. A bird flew in circles above the solitary light, swooping as if it found something, and then it shot right back up again, circling. Metee squinted, her fingers hovering near her pocket recorder.
Don't be weird, Metee.
That was Rulu's warning whenever she got a little too lost in her obsessions. UFOs, signals, ghost stories. She was the small-town oddball. It wasn't a label that Metee minded, but it didn't win her many lunch invites either. Still, she couldn't help herself. She raised her phone, zoomed in, and snapped a picture. The cows, the traffic light, the leaning post with its rusted bolts. In the distance, at the base of the pole, something moved. Dark and low. A snake? Maybe. A bird? Possibly. Her eyes narrowed, adjusting to the golden haze of dawn. Whatever it was, it vanished before her brain could label it. She finally made it to Rulu's diner, which smelled like fried eggs, floor wax, and laminated menus that had seen better decades. The screen door cracked as Metee stepped inside. The ceiling fan spun in a slow, lazy circle, slicing sunlight into wide, sleepy beams. Rulu, apron already stained with bacon grease, slapped a menu down before Metee could even sit.
Getting the usual?
Eyes flickering towards the antenna in her bag with a familiar mix of fondness and mild irritation. Metee nodded, sliding into her usual booth under the window.
BLT, yeah, and I saw something weird with the cows again.
Rulu rolled her eyes and then turned back to the kitchen.
They're cows, honey. If they ever stop being weird, then worry.
Rulu vanished back into the kitchen with a clattering of plates. Left alone, Metee tapped a rhythm on the tabletop with her knuckles, her bag emitting a soft beep. She pulled the VLF receiver into her lap and clicked the scan button. It whirled, then clicked. Then set into a low, sweeping tone. Distant electromagnetic signals. Sometimes she heard trains, other times Morse code from nowhere. Today, the airways breathed something new. At 6:35, it had been static at first, then something more.
Take this day. It's yours. Let me.
The words had seeped through the chaos, soft and half-formed. They weren't spoken so much as implied, wrapped inside the tones, buried just deep enough to make Metee doubt her own ears. Then the signal had twisted again, gone, replaced by the faint pop of interference. Metee sat there in the booth, replaying the words that she had heard over and over. No one had answered what honestly sounded like a prayer. She had heard it tucked between the strange background noises of Larry, but somehow Metee knew that there had been a reply. The hair on her arms refused to lie flat while she thought back to what she had heard earlier that morning. Then someone pulled her from her thoughts. At the other booth, Stranger waved at her, cheeks puffed out with syrup-drenched pancakes.
Metee, are you still hunting ghosts, or are you just trying to make us all paranoid?
He called, grin wide. Metee smiled, relaxing for the first time all morning.
A little of both.
Well, if there's ghosts having lunch with me, tell them they're paying for a brother next time.
He chuckled, wiping his hands on a paper napkin. The front door jingled open. Willow stepped in, puff in her arms with a diaper bag slung over one shoulder. Behind her, Luka walked in with a mock rooster strut, arms flapping, trying to coax a giggle from his daughter. "Walk! Good morning, commoners," he announced. Willow didn't look up.
Don't encourage him, Puff. Don't encourage Daddy.
Their son, Togi, trailed behind, utterly oblivious. His eyes were glued to a switch screen as he sidestepped a table with practice ease. Laughter filled the air. For a moment, it felt like any other Tuesday in Larry. Metee let herself smile. Later that afternoon, after the lunch rush and second coffee, Metee took towards the northern trail with a small canvas bag tied around her belt, hoping to catch a few late-season mulberries. Behind the mini-mart, she passed Jabbernut, lounging near a loading bay, cigarette in one hand, vintage camcorder in the other. Bill stood nearby, stocking milk crates, listening with mild confusion. Jabber spotted the antenna, peeking from Metee's bag, a sign of their shared interest.
You ever think that ghosts carry trauma?
He said, like they were already mid-conversation.
Like emotional weight that survives the body?
Metee paused.
I guess they might.
Jabber nodded solemnly, like she'd confirmed something very important. She gave him a small wave and moved on. She liked Jabber, drama and all, but she needed to be alone right now. The humming was back. Not the antenna this time, in her own head. And she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd almost heard something that wasn't hers to know.